I'm at my last stand. So this is the very end of the series, and it's been a lot of fun going around and reminiscing about some of these hunts and pulling these stands down. I've got to get them all down. This one's been up here for a long time too, and some of these have a lot of history, but their history was a long time ago. So they're stuck in these trees pretty tight and they're not safe anymore. This was a stand that Mike Sawyer put up, I think in 2008. And I really like this setup. I never hunted it, but I always looked at it when I walked through here and I thought, what a great spot this is. And I'll explain how it sets up and why I like it so well. This is what you'd call the classic inside corner. You probably heard people talk about inside corners before. It's basically where a field makes a corner going back into the timber. So you got timber on two sides. Well, the deer, they don't usually go across that open field. Sometimes they will if there's, really secluded, but usually they'll go around it and they'll go around the end of that field. So right where that corner is, you get a lot of deer movement through there. It turns into quite a heavy funnel. That's what we've got here. There's a pasture that lays to the south and the east of where we're at. We're in the northwest corner of this pasture. It's open ground, there's a fence, so the deer have to work a little bit harder if they're gonna cross. And they will. I mean, we're way back in the middle of nowhere. They will cross that, but they're more likely to come out of this big block of timber in front of me, narrow down, go around this corner, around the pasture, and either go out into this bottom below me or just turn the corner and head back, be to the east to another big block of timber. So it's basically a bottleneck that forms right at the end of this pasture field. Mike would come in from the south. He would park on the very south end of this pasture, walk the whole pasture in, drop into it. He'd have a northwest wind blowing, taking his scent away from all of these deer, pushing it right out into this pasture. So he'd be coming in the whole way with the wind in his face, and his scent would be blowing out into the pasture into a spot where he really didn't expect the deer to be. So all the activity was down in here. I know he had a lot of good hunts here. He told me about a number of different ones. He'd see bucks moving through these little fields down here, and he'd call to them. And I don't remember if he ever killed one here or not. I don't think that he did, but this is one of those spots that I think if you'd hunt it often enough, you'd have a lot of success here, especially during the rut when you got these bucks cruising from one big block of cover to another. There's does bedded in here, there's does bedded over here, and this is the narrow bottleneck in between, and that's where you're going to see those bucks cruising through. So this one's coming down, but there really does need to be a stand here. This is one of those spots that I do feel like as easily as it sets up to hunt, with that northwest wind, it would be a killer spot if a guy would just put his time in here. So this concludes my stand series. I don't know, gosh, I mean, I'm gonna have to start putting them back up again pretty soon, but I got them all down, and there was some that I got to throw away. There was a couple of stands that were really unsafe. So I do recommend this. Every few years, 2-3 years, or whatever the time length is, you really need to take all your stands down, get them all out of the woods, even the ones that you don't plan to hunt, or even the ones that you hunt all the time. Get them out, clean them up, make sure they're safe, and then put them back up again and get them into the right spots for the coming season. So I appreciate you joining me on this series. I got this one to pull, and I'm all done.